Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So deep dive for the leader has dropped and well, we're going to break it down and see what we think about him. So he is a science character that is primarily focusing on Spectre and Wizard debuffs, in addition to having access to basically degeneration type of aura if you keep your opponent at the green door, which is going to be kind of like the goal of the game, to keep opponent on the green door for as long as possible, making them more aggressive, making it easier for you to intercept, ramping up and dealing degen damage, and effectively dealing with champions that way. An enhanced immune system provides full immunity to poison, just like virtually all of the Hulk adjacent characters, and as a defender, whilst the opponent's regeneration rate is at or below 0, that willpower master is disabled. This is yet again another example of opponents designers messing with masteries, but in this case there's like literally no downside, because you will be getting inflicted with Spectre debuffs throughout the fight, and obviously otherwise this would just turn out into a degeneration type fight. However, it doesn't mean that you're safe from having Spectre debuffs on yourself, because there is something in his ability kit that will basically want you to make sure that you're not getting debuffed too heavily. So, personal debuffs are severe debuffs, preventing them from being removed by Purified or Cleanse. And this is, again, immediate callback to design that I heavily dislike. If Kabam has taken a very nasty trend of disabling our masteries, willpower getting switched off at the beginning of the fight against Photon and Dust, and after a parry against Onslaught, and so on and so forth. And now seemingly inequities being made irrelevant against the Patriot. Then this is a different kind of thing that Kabam has started doing, where the champions that do the things that you want them to do in specific matchups don't do them anymore. And the beginning of that was pretty much Penny, or closer to that, where, true accuracy and true strike doesn't work for whatever reason. And now we're going to have a science champion whose debuffs you can't purify. Is, bullshit. This will make it so old champions, like Kingpin, like Jabari, like Crossbones, like whatnot, do not function well against leader. Newer champions, like the Patriot, who wants to have debuffs placed on him and have them expire, will function. So it's just not cool. That's what I'm going to say. It's just not cool. I immediately protest against design philosophy such as this, where you make a champion that does one thing, and then you immediately make another champion that says whatever your old champions do, it doesn't count for whatever reason, just because we made up a new name, in this case, severe debuffs. I don't like it. I don't like what Kabam is doing here. Either way, when either champion lands their first light attack, the leader inflicts 20% Spectre debuff for 18 seconds. When either champion lands their third light attack, the leader inflicts 20% with the debuff for 18 seconds, max stacks 10 of each. So to avoid this, heavies, specials, and mediums only, or play without willpower and just have Spectres placed on you, but then you're gonna incur some more wrath. So here's the willpower being disabled part of it, Spectre reducing the regeneration. However, for each personal debuff on the opponent, the leader reduces incoming damage from all sources except Special 3 by 1%. As a defender, this becomes 3% against skilled champions or 4% against non-skilled champions. So if you have 10 of each debuffs, your damage reduced by 80% total. So that's going to be a slog to get through. So you will want to make sure that you do not have that many debuffs on you. Which means, even if you had decided to play with, Spectres on you, that's still going to be slowing you down. And by the looks of it, he could potentially be a chunky champion, unless you do the mediums or medium heavies or heavies and stuff like that. And again, it is what it is. The leader generates 2 gamma radiation for every second for each debuff on the opponent. green gamma radiation is generated 15% faster, up to 180%. So basically that is how you ramp up in the fight. The green door is located in the center of the stage. It begins closed and is opened when the leader reaches 100 gamma radiation. Defenders become more aggressive the closer they are to the green door. So that's similar to Kate's, cornering taunt mechanic effectively. And that will make it easier for you to intercept, which is going to be significant later. Whilst opened, 6 gamma radiation is consumed every second. Pause during leader special attacks. Upon reaching 0 gamma radiation, the green door is locked. Once closed, the green door, the leader cannot generate gamma for 4 seconds. Fair enough. And then when the doors open, you also inflict passive degen. Additionally, when you stand on the green door as an attacker, you can purify leader's debuffs on you. So either way, whether you're using leader or you're fighting against the leader, you will kind of want to dance around the middle of the stage pretty much always. So, while green door is closed. As an attacker, when the opponent activates special attack while standing on the closed green door, they are inflicted with 2 personal Wither and Spectre debuffs. So you will want to make sure opponents launch their specials while standing on the green door when you're attacking. But as a defender, whilst the opponent is standing on the closed green door, the green door will absorb 1 of the leader's personal debuffs every 2 seconds, removing it with no penalty. Debuffs are absorbed twice fast against skill champions. So when you're fighting against the leader, you want to be standing on the green door whilst it's closed. While the green door is open, whenever a non-damaging debuff is inflicted, gain an additional Fury passive. While leader's opponent is standing on top of the green door, they are taking degen damage, basically. So we have covered all of these bits. While the leader's opponent is standing on top of the open green door, every half a second they are inflicted with an instant degeneration, dealing a burst of 94.3 direct damage for each debuff on them. And obviously that can be multiplied by Furies as well. So direct degen willpower reversal is how he's going to be making majority of his damage. And that is a good thing, because here we can see him with 21 Furies on, hitting for like 1300. Noodle doesn't begin to describe the damage that we are seeing from leader. And level 1 has a Vitality mechanic, increases the potency of regeneration effects and the willpower mastery by the given potency. So that is going to be helping you offensively, because you will give opponent more regeneration that you can later on reverse. And his level 2 basically puts on, so level 1 puts on additional specters, level 2 puts on additional withers. The easiest way to think about leader special attacks is basically going to be simple. Level 1 deals with regeneration, level 2 deals with power gain effects. And when you are power draining opponent after level 2, you will be inflicting quite a bunch of direct damage with power dissolve debuff. So on the final hit, if the opponent's ability power rate is at or below 0, inflict an unstacking power dissolve debuff for 18 seconds, which will deal them damage. Whenever affected champion loses power due to any reason other than special activation, they are dealt direct damage corresponding to the percent of max power lost multiplied by the given potency. And special 3, inflict a degeneration debuff for 14 seconds, and while green door is open, gain 10 personal fury passives and inflict an indefinite 10% degeneration vulnerability passive. Max stacks 3, and this ability is activated before the degeneration debuff. And then his sig ability. Whilst the leader has at least 12 personal debuffs on the opponent, he gains a steadfast passive. This becomes 4 debuffs against Mystic champions, so super easy to get against Mystics. Not as easy, but again, another champion that can block unblockables. Wonder where this will be helpful. And personal fury effects now have a duration of 6 seconds and are paused while the green door is open. Otherwise, they just function whilst the green door is open. And intercepting the opponent with a light attack has a 100% chance to randomly inflict a personal specter or wither debuff, gives him a faster ramp up. Remember, green door makes opponents AI more aggressive, so the light intercepts for skilled players should be easier. And that's the champion. So what I think of the leader so far, it looks like everything about him is going to be quite noodly. and he's going to be a tanky defender. He will do great in matchups where you do need to reverse regeneration. He will work great in matchups where opponents have external power gain. Those are the two types of matchups that I think he's going to be viable attacker. Again, do not ever jump to conclusions about the champion after deep dive, but that is like the only two practical kind of versions where I can see this working fine. Where if opponent has some regeneration abilities and you're max spectring him out plus max despair mastery and everything else, you should be dealing quite a lot of damage reversing regeneration. Or if opponent has potent enough power gain, you should be able to control it until you get level 2 and then drop it and nuke the opponent down. Outside of those two scenarios, to me, he seems just like a chunky defender. We have yet to see his base stats, but I'd be almost willing to bet he has like a lot of health and he's gonna be a big fat chunk of green flesh to tear through with those protections on, maxing out at 80% reduced damage. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Will it work? Will it be good? Will it be viable? It remains to be seen. Not a fan of what they are doing with disabling masteries. Not a fan of what they are doing with, oh, we're just gonna make these severe debuffs and and what's gonna be next? These are gonna be like the giga buffs that cannot be nullified, or I was like, fuck off. I mean, they already have nullify immunity anyways, so not giga buffs, but whatever. You guys know what I mean. It just seems kind of lazy immediately. When somebody puts, these are not debuffs, these are the mega special, awesome, super amazing kind of severe debuffs that you cannot cleanse or purify, thus everybody in the skill class can fuck right off except the champion that we're just releasing. It doesn't seem good, is all I'm gonna say. Not that it doesn't work good, it seems cheap, seems shitty in that sense. Anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Bye bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about